Jeopardy! Please welcome our contestant. Player one. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trevette.
Thanks, Johnny. Welcome to Jeopardy, everyone. Good luck to you in the Jeopardy round. For this game, the categories are as follows. Famous pairs. Made to measure. Name the novel. Musicals' opening numbers. World flags. And parts of speech. Player one, you start us off. I killed a man in Reno just to watch him die. In... Let's hear it, player one. Right. Please pick again, player one. Dream when you're feeling blue. Dream. That's the thing to do. Dream. Yes, player one? Right. Player one, back to you. So when you're happy, hooray, or sad, aw, or frightened, eek, or mad, rats. Hooray, aw, eek, rats. Okay, player one. That's correct. Player one, you pick again, please. We know you're very smart, but are you smart enough to know? Very. Let's hear it, player one. Right you are. Player one, back to you. Rodney Dangerfield said, when I was born, I was so ugly, the doctor slapped my mother. Ugly. Okay, player one. That is correct. Player one, choose again. Nellis Air Force Base has 70,000 solar panels, which produce 15 of these units, 25% of the base's summer power. Yes, player one? No, sorry. Here's the correct response. Megawatts. Player one, you pick again, please. Take a nibble if you want 4 of these binary units of computer code. Let's hear it, player one.
Yeah.
That's correct. Player one, you pick again, please. This unit equals 4 inches when measuring an equus caballos. We're talking about hand. Player one, you pick again, please. Of about 30, 50, or 100 inches a year, the Earth's average annual amount of precipitation. Okay, player one. Here's the response we were looking for. 30. Select again. In Asia, use a goo if you want to measure a cup of this for an electric cooker. Here's what we were looking for. Rice. Player one, choose again. In the world of classic TV game shows, blank and Todman. It's player one.
Yeah.
That is correct. Select again. In medieval legend, Tristan and blank. Here's the response we were looking for. Isolde. Player one, choose again. In business, Dunn and blank. Here's what we were looking for. Bradstreet. You again, player one. On the ice rink, blank and Dean. Here's the correct response. Torval. You again, player one. In literature and on British TV, Jeeves and blank. Here's the correct response. Worcester. Player one, back to you for our next selection. Like many countries, Albania has this bird as a symbol, and its flag shows a two-headed one. It's player one. That's correct. Player one, back to you for our next selection. Answer, the Daily Double. And you have the lead. How much are you going to wager, player one? All right, here's your clue. In 1996, to represent unity, Ethiopia put this five-pointed star with mystical overtones on its flag. Sorry. Here's the correct response. The pentagram. We return to you, player one. This phrase appears on the flag of Brazil. Here's what we were looking for. Ordem e progresso. Player one. Pick again. Here's Kelly.
One legend says that the design of this country's flag was inspired by the reflection of the moon and a star in a pool of blood after the Battle of Manzikert.
Okay, player one. No, sorry. Here's the response we were looking for. Turkey. You get to pick again, player one. This country readopted its old red, white, and blue flag in 1991. Here's what we were looking for. Russia. We return to you, player one. 1961. Once upon a time, there was a Martian named Valentine Michael Smith. We're talking about Stranger in a Strange Land. Player one, back to you. 1932. In the 4,000 rooms of the center, the 4,000 electric clocks simultaneously struck 4. Here's what we were looking for. Brave New World. You get to pick again, player one. 1902. The horror. The horror. We're talking about Heart of Darkness. You again, player one. 1937. I have chosen Mr. Baggins, and that ought to be enough for all of you. We're talking about The Hobbit. Player one, you pick again, please. 1813. Happy for all her maternal feelings was the day Mrs. Bennet got rid of her two most deserving daughters. The correct response is Pride and Prejudice. We return to you, player one. Oh, what a beautiful mornin'. Here's what we were looking for. Oklahoma. Player one, you pick again, please. All That Jazz. Okay, player one. Good. You again, player one. Willkommen. Here's the correct response. Cabaret. Player one, back to you for our next selection. Good morning, Baltimore. Here's what we wanted. Hairspray. Here's the $1,000 clue for you. Move, you're stepping on my heart. Here's the correct response. Dreamgirls. The Double Jeopardy round will begin right after this. Let's see what happens in Double Jeopardy with these categories awaiting the players. Quotable movies. Related words. Colleges and universities. Historic Munich. Name the playwright. And busy as a beaver. All right, if you're ready, it's Double Jeopardy time. In the 16th century, Munich was a center of the German phase of this movement against Protestantism. It's player one. You are correct. You get to pick again, player one. The athletic teams of this Massachusetts college are nicknamed the Lord Jeffs. Here's the response we were looking for. Amherst College. Please pick again, player one. Curse of the Starving Class. True West. We're talking about Sam Shepard. You get to pick again, player one. To do this to something is to make it holy, a word from the same root. Okay, player one. Sorry, that's wrong. Here's the response we were looking for. To hallow. Select again. Spartans, enjoy your breakfast, for tonight we dine in hell. Let's hear it, player one. No. Here's the response we were looking for. 300. You again, player one. The coat of arms of this company, founded in 1670, displays 4 furry beavers. Here's the response we were looking for. The Hudson Bay Company. Player one, back to you for our next selection. Beavers have 6 of these on their heads in 2 sets of 3. One is transparent and helps in swimming underwater. Let's hear it, player one. Sorry, that's wrong. Here's the response we were looking for. Eyelids. You again, player one. This 5-letter beaver home may have separate entrances and a carpeted floor. Hopefully no elks. We're talking about a lodge. Player one, choose again. Of 1, 5, or 15, the rough maximum number of minutes a beaver can hold its breath underwater. It's player one. No, sorry. Here's what we were looking for. 15. Select again. Natural enemies of the beaver include bobcats, coyotes, and this glutton associated with Michigan. Here's the response we were looking for. The wolverine. You again, player one. You can't handle the truth. Here's the correct response. A few good men. Player one, back to you. As score can mean to cut, it makes sense that it's from the same root as this word for big scissors. Yes, player one? That is correct. Player one, back to you. A park was originally an enclosed place. This related word still means an enclosure for racehorses. It's player one. Nope. Here's what we were looking for. A paddock. Player one, back to you for our next selection. On Munich's coat of arms, you'll find one of these religious figures who originally settled the city and gave it its name. The correct response is a monk. Player one, you pick again, please. My father assured him that either his signature or his brains would be on the contract. Here's what we were looking for. The Godfather. Player one, you pick again, please. There was a Stonehenge monument on the stage that was in danger of being crushed by a dwarf. Here's the response we were looking for. Spinal Tap. You again, player one. Answer. The first of the 2 daily doubles. And you're in the lead now. So, what's your wager? And the clue. Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelled of elderberries. Correct. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. Culprit, meaning the guilty party, evolved from this adjective meaning guilty. It's Player 1. You are correct. You again, Player 1. Fabricate is related to this verb that can mean to write something fraudulent, like a signature. Let's hear it, Player 1. Good for you. Player 1, choose again. Death of a salesman, The Crucible. It's Player 1. Yep. Select again. Munich's motto used to be Die Weltstadt mit Herz, the world city with this. Here's what we were looking for. Heart. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. Founded as a Methodist college in 1838, it moved to Durham, North Carolina in 1892. It's Player 1.
Yeah!
Right. Please pick again, Player 1. An American Daughter, The Heidi Chronicles. We're talking about Wendy Wasserstein. Please pick again, Player 1. The trustees of the College of California bought 160 acres of land north of Oakland and named the site this in 1866. Here's what we wanted. Berkeley. Please pick again, Player 1. This Tulsa college was founded by and named for an evangelist, later the school's chancellor. Here's the correct response. Oral Roberts University. Player 1, back to you. The Summer Olympics in Munich in this year were sadly marred by terrorism and tragedy. Here's the response we were looking for. 1972. We return to you, Player 1. Lettuce and lovage. Amadeus. The correct response is Peter Schaffer. Player 1. Pick again. Let's get Jimmy's assistance on this clue.
The modern sport of bungee jumping got off the ground in 1979 when this school's dangerous sports club jumped off a bridge in Bristol, England.
Yes, Player 1? That's correct.
Yeah! Woo!
Player 1. Pick again. Answer. The other daily double. You are in the lead right now. How much are you going to wager, Player 1? And the clue. In 1634 and 1635, this deadly contagion devastated Munich, killing more than 1/3 of its residents. Yes. And we'll wrap up the board with this clue. Speed the Plow, Glengarry Glen Ross. Here's the correct response. David Mamet. Congratulations to you. You'll be continuing on to Final Jeopardy when we come back. Here's the Final Jeopardy category. American authors. So, what's your wager? And now the final clue. Injured on the Austro-Italian front on July 8, 1918, he also crossed the English Channel with U.S. forces on D-Day. Did you come up with the correct response? And that will cost you. Here's the correct response. Ernest Hemingway. This makes you our new champion, Player 1, so congratulations. Good game, everyone, and thank you so much for playing.